Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Guys, if you follow me on X on Twitter, you know that right before we came out, who is we? Right before I came out here live to discuss this enthusiastic market that we're all excited about right now, I indicated to everyone that I have a rather big confession to make to everyone. In my own words, I said, shocking. I have a pretty shocking confession to make to everyone, and the shocking confession is this. Now, this has come up a few times now over the course of my life. For the past several years. Welcome in, Juan. It's come up a few times, and I have sort of not paid attention to it. And it came up again today. Listening, and in some reference, it came up actually on sports talk radio I was listening to. And the shocking confession that I have to make to you, which some of you will question my judgment, quite frankly, on what I'm about to say. I have never watched The Godfather. I have never watched The Godfather. There are so many people I respect who have said, "Oh my God, it's one of the best movies of all time." Blah 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 blah. Never seen it. Never seen it. I know. And so I have made it a priority. I must have a pretty damn good life if I can prioritize this. I have made it a priority for me to go through the Godfather series, the entire movie. I don't even know how many there are, 5 of them, before the end of the year. So I got the next 6 months, 5 months, whatever, to go through the entire Godfather series movies. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. We're gonna remedy this. Apparently, Al Pacino shows up in Godfather 2. I love Scarface. I've seen that a few times. But guys, let's get into the markets. You know, right now, this is pure excitement. I mean, there is nowhere you'd rather be right now than crypto. Now, I warned you guys. What you're seeing right now, we're going to get some of this and some of this for the next, 6 weeks. This is the way it's going to be. In fact, what I would like to initiate today on the live stream, show me a little bit of love. I need some love on the thumbs up because I have half the thumbs up for the amount of viewers I'm getting. What I'm going to do right now is every day that I come out here to live stream, we're going to have a countdown until October begins. Because, again, I don't think anything's going to be super monumentally interesting until we get into the fourth quarter of this year. I've made that perfectly clear. I don't anticipate much great price action this month. I certainly don't next month. So we're going to, let's see, we have 16 days. We're at day 46. So today, we are officially at countdown day 46 until the fourth quarter of this year. Let me tell you, it's going to be painful some of these days to come out here and live stream, but this motherfucker is here for you motherfuckers, so I hope you show me some love and continue showing up. Because what I will say is this. A couple ways to look at this. Let's kind of break this down for you. If your high-level view, if your macro view is everything that I've shared with you, and you're super freaking bullish going into 2025, part of you might say, well, if you're saying to me, CBG, that really it's not going to get interesting until the fourth quarter, maybe I should just tune out for the next month and a half. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a vacation, certainly, and getting away from the charts. I've certainly done that myself. It's very healthy. But there's a fallacy in that. The fallacy is there's an implied certainty in what you're stating. We don't know with any certainty what's going to happen. We just have probabilities, right? And we're going to get into that in a little bit before we get to the TA questions. But what I really try to stress to you guys, okay, this may not be the largest channel. I may not be the most popular person, thankfully, quite frankly, in the cryptocurrency space. But I feel there are some things that I can do well. One of those things is to properly articulate to you reality. Reality is when people come to this channel, I share with them probabilities because that's all we can do as technicians. A person who reads a chart and reads price data off is giving you a probability of what they foresee moving forward based on historical and emerging price action. That's all this is doing, right? So based on all of these macro things that I've shared with you, I have a very high conviction level that we're going to see mass appreciation by the end of this year going into 2025. But we need to stay vigilant. And the reason we need to stay vigilant is because what if something in the chart changes that changes our macro view? What if something fundamentally breaks down in the charts that would change our view? These are all possibilities. They're all possibilities. And so that's why it's still very important to us, no matter how boring this price action is, no matter how much we fucking won in alt season, we have to stay in the game. And by staying in the game, what I mean is you have to continually keep your eye on the market, because I have said so many times, things can change on a dime. There's no reason Bitcoin couldn't hit an all-time high in September. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I don't think we're going to see a new all-time high in Bitcoin until the fourth quarter, probably October. But there's no reason that doesn't need to happen, right? So we need to stay very vigilant in these markets and keep an eye on it, because just like that, just like we saw this swift downfall in price, we have since seen a sharp V recovery. This happened so quickly. Don't forget, guys, we just hit on this yesterday, the concept of a Pareto distribution where 80% of your gains will be made in 20% of the time of this entire cycle. Don't lose that perspective. But I want to hit on something. Price action, all I would say price action is doing right now is exhibiting exactly what the market does, volatility. But the key thing is we're staying in this range. I've indicated, this should be a green line. I've indicated to you that my expectation, and again, I wasn't pinpointing time frames. The point of these boxes were not time frames. We're going to stay in this zone, okay? And then I want to see us get up into this zone, okay? And then eventually up into this zone. So we'll have to see if that takes place. Now remember, I'm not saying that you can't see some wicks. You see how I think most of you know this, but you see how we wicked below this green area here? I could care less about that. I'm talking about candle body closes. This is a 12-hour chart. So I just want to stay in this relative range. If we start getting closing bodies that are going below 56.5, and in particular 55.1, okay, well, it looks like we're at the very least going to retest where we were at, which I'm not anticipating, but is certainly possible. Again, I'm relatively speaking, okay, accounting for the thing called volatility in this space. Guys, for the love of God, just hit the thumbs up button. It doesn't take much effort. I don't understand people who come back to this channel repeatedly, listening to what I have to say on TA and then saying, intentionally saying to themselves, you know what? I actually enjoy tuning into this to hear what this guy has to say about technical analysis. But I'm intentionally not going to hit the thumbs up because I don't give two fucks about this guy's YouTube channel. I'm just going to be lazy as fuck. Okay, thank you very much. Don't understand it. In generalities, I anticipate consolidation in here, okay? And then getting up to this next level. And then getting up to the next level. So we're doing exactly what I said. There isn't anything going on in the market that is throwing us for a loop at the moment, okay? DT, welcome in. Glad to have you here, my friend. Juan, I believe you are the first person to always comment on the live streams, and I do appreciate that. You're always the first one to drop a comment. Thank you. Todd is coming in hot and motherfucking heavy. We will be checking out Render with the super chat, which are never expected, but always appreciated. Todd comes in with these super chats all the time, man. The market could be abysmal. This man's in. Todd, I really mean this. This is me being authentic and not being sarcastic. I don't want this to come across in a sarcastic way. It doesn't matter how abysmal the price action is. The enthusiasm from Todd is something that I tend to gravitate towards and really appreciate. So thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to take a look at Render, apparently first, based on the super chat. Milla, even if it's a boring time now, still it's so much fun to watch you talking about it. Well, at least there's one person out there that enjoys listening to me talk. Thank you very much. Ian, it's not feeling like it right now, but I love the enthusiasm. Where the fuck is Oof at? Let's fucking go. That's too many F-bombs. Channel's going to get demonetized. Let's check out Render. We're going to change directions on where I was originally going. We'll get back there. But super chat on... Wait, is Render... Is this right? Is it RNDR? I thought it was RNDR. Isn't it? Why the hell is my Render chart messed up? I told you guys, some of my trading view charts got really screwed up. Oh, come on. You suck. Oh, you suck. You know you suck. Let's see. I know I have a chart that I've shared many times, and I'm going to find that chart because we're not redoing the chart. I had something else on here. Ah, damn it. All right. Well, I don't know where my other chart is. I'm not going to bother. Let's clean this chart up, okay? Sorry, Todd. This is dragging a little bit here. Sorry. Trying to find the right chart and can't find it. Let's stay on the high time frames for now. We can go to the low time frames to see what's going on. But I don't like to see price closing below the 50 moving average. This certainly has gone lower than I would have anticipated. I was talking about a $5 to $6 range. We wicked all the way down here to $3.40. Now, the question you need to ask yourself when you're evaluating a chart like this, and this looks like a clear A, B, C correction, which is probably finalized. But the question you have to ask yourself in this case with this chart is, now that price has gone lower than what we've originally anticipated, has anything fundamentally changed with the chart? The answer is no, okay? Let me just save you the time on taking an educated guess there. You got a low here, you got a high. You got a higher low here, you got a higher high, and you got a higher low here. So all we're doing is Super Marioing. Super Mario. We're just jumping up, right? Fucking jumping right up. But now what we need to ask ourselves is, what do we want to watch for the trend to continue back up to the upside, right? I don't like to see this 10 closing below getting below the 20 here. I don't want to see, what I don't want to see, Todd, this 20 and this 10, I don't want to see them significantly going below this 50 simple moving average. It's just going to get a little bit, what that would imply is it's going to get a little bit more messy and take a little bit more time to clear up. So what I'd ultimately like to do, let's talk about areas of resistance first, okay? Let's get off the 10. Let's just focus on the 20 and the 50. This is definitely, you can see the price confluence here. $5 is going to be a tough area to get above. Now, once we do reclaim $5, then the next question is, well, what is the next price level that we want to watch for? I'd say roughly 580, which kind of lines up with the 50 simple moving average. So really, what we want to do is starting to get weekly closes above $5 and then $5.80, okay? And after that, what we want to watch for, there's a couple. I like this area right here. There's other areas of price confluence here. You could put something in the $7 range, but $8.40 is the next area I would be watching for a weekly close to get above. Once we get above $8.40, Todd, come back and ask for a update on the chart. We can take a look at it. The other thing to keep in mind is you can see a clear descending area of resistance, right? And typically, when you draw out an area of descending resistance like this, quite oftentimes what you will find is it's not magic, it's not coincidence. I don't believe in many coincidences in life, and certainly in TA, it's not the case. You'll come up here and see us having struggles getting above this descending area of resistance, right? Same thing on Synapse. Take a look at Synapse today. I was pointing this out because I'm in a trade. Yeah, we had a nice move today, but look where we found resistance, right at this descending, you see the black line here, descending area of resistance. So Render more than likely will find an area, this whole zone, Todd, depending when we bounce up here, this whole zone on Render right in here is going to be pretty challenging to get above. Right in that $7.60 to $5 range is going to be really, really tough. So we'll have to allow price to show us the path. Now, in terms of areas of support, there's a rather obvious area that any basic technical analyst would point out to you, and it's where we wick down to. Chances are there's confluence over here, pretty much. I mean, there's confluence here, there's confluence right there. I'll draw the range. If we haven't bottomed, by the way, on Render, which, again, I suspect we have based on the formation of the candlestick, based on where we're at in the cycle, this looks like a classic ABC correction at the top of a impulsive wave structure up here. You can also see volume. Another key thing here is look at the volume profile. See how the volume is ticking down? We had this nice impulsive volume coming on the way up. So declining volume, which is pretty common. So, so a zone of support, I would say, would be between $3.40 and $2.76. Okay. Taking a look at the price indicators, focusing on the ones I like to, stochastic RSI. You can see what the stochastic RSI is telling you, because it's essentially at zero. There's no momentum in this thing. This thing is like many of the projects out there. All it's trying to do is find firm footing. It's trying to level off and then continue, and then begin to reinitiate momentum to the upside, right? So this thing has no momentum right now. Again, MACD is sort of fluctuating around here like a beached baby whale here. This thing's fluttering around here, and it's trying to find its bearings. I don't know where I came up with that reference from, guys. Sometimes I don't know what the things that come out of my mouth. Sometimes I can't tell you where it comes from. If we go down to the smaller time frames, one of the things, before we get off this chart, Todd, one of the things that you're familiar with that I like to look at on these charts, once I've assessed the high time frame view, I look at this and say, okay, my assessment is, okay, we went deeper than I thought we would, but nothing structurally has changed. This is still an extremely bullish chart for reasons that I just outlined. Now what I like to do is I like to see if I can get any clues or insights into a potential trend reversal back to the upside on the high time frames. The way that I can do that is I can start to get more granular, and I can go into the low time frames, because on those low time frames, I'm mainly looking for bullish divergence. I'm also looking on the low time frames for higher highs and higher lows, for those basic building blocks of a bullish narrative. Because if you start to see that show up in your lower time frame charts, so long as that sustains itself, it bleeds over into these higher time frame charts. So with that being said, let's look at the 3-day. You can see on the 3-day, we're maintaining above the 200 SMA. Of course, there's not a lot of price data, but we're above the 200 SMA. It's trying to find its bearings. If we go down to a 12-hour, I'm not really seeing anything there. If I go to a daily, I'm not seeing anything there. If I go to a 2-day, yeah. So I would say the only lower time frame chart I would look at and get some value from, just at a quick glance, would be the 3-day. Because right now we're holding this 200 simple moving average on the 3-day as support. Remember, guys, it's not difficult to properly interpret what a moving average is. It's not rocket science. Actually, rocket science is not too technical. Actuarial science is a lot more complex. But a moving average is literally just an average of closing candlesticks on that time frame. So we're looking at a 3-day here. This is 200, since it's a 200 simple moving average, it's the average of the prior 200 candlesticks where they closed at. That's all it is. And then you just plot a point, put it on a graph. That's all it is. All right, what other, okay, no other questions at the moment. Great. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, and this isn't me. You guys know, if you've been here for a while, I'm very quick to point out things I was wrong on, which a lot of people, I would say most people in this space do not do. I take ownership for bad calls or incorrect calls, however you want to look at it. Even if the logic was correct, okay, and it didn't pan out the way I was anticipating, I take ownership for that, and I come out here and routinely speak to it. And I obviously call out really good calls, right, as well. Now, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I really need to implant this into your mind, because I don't think a lot of people are truly... I still think there are probably some of you that hear what I'm saying but are not listening to me. And so I want everyone here to really, really understand, going back to Casper, the whole point of the conversation I've been trying to have with you on this chart. And I don't know why the hell I can't pull this up. What's this? Oh, I think this is like KuCoin or some shit like that. Because there really is, and I'm not exaggerating here, there is a life lesson from this that you can take and you can apply it moving forward to learn from this. Because if you don't learn from this chart, then you'll just keep making the same boneheaded mistakes if you're invested in this thing. So, is it KuCoin? Oh, God. Where is this? Okay. Now, I want to... Okay. Wow. We're down in the 1.2, 1.3 cent area. Hey, JetBrox, welcome in, my friend. I became bearish on this chart once market structure broke. Please understand what I'm saying here. I became bearish once we broke below these lines here. This was market structure. This is where price was showing strength and support. I indicated to you that once we began to break below here, also the bullish divergence that we were watching for months broke down. I said to you, this thing is very dangerous. There's no certainty. I said to you point blank, we could have bottomed here. We might bleed to a penny, and we're at 1.2 cents, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you, and no one can tell you. And the reason for that is because when we look left and we're trying to find price structure to gravitate towards, there is nothing. This is called the no-no zone. And I will continue to harp on this, because if I don't continue to harp on it, someone out there is going to miss this and make the same mistake. I have repeatedly said to you, if you're invested in something and you have an investment thesis, unless something materially changes, retain that investment thesis. Don't feed into your emotions. But if the logic, the educated side to you says, wow, something fundamentally has changed, reassess your investment. This should have caused anyone in this asset to take a second look at why they're invested in this thing. We did not know how far this would drop. There's no certainties, but there was a high probability that this thing could continue to bleed. And what has happened? Okay? We have bled. If we just look at the middle of this range, right around here, okay? We have bled over 50%. This thing is going to have to pull a 3x. This thing's going to have to go up 300% just to get back to market structure. Anyone who put any amount of money in this thing has lost. Think of all the assets you could have invested in and made money off of. Okay, in crypto, and they've appreciated in value, right? This thing has been losing you money since day one, no matter where you got in. And the chart told us once we broke below this 2 cent, 2.5 cent area here, this right here wasn't a certainty. I'll keep saying it. It wasn't a certainty. This could have rebounded right here and got up. But why would you want to take a chance? Why would you want to take a chance on that? Never catch a falling knife. This thing will bounce. I've said this repeatedly. This thing will bounce, and it will bounce hard at some point. But who the hell knows where that's going? Why can't this go to 0.8 cents? I'm just saying. There's no reason. We could have bottomed at current price levels. We could keep going down. There's no price confluence, guys. You take a look. I don't understand. You look at a chart like that, and you're going to tell me that you're just going to pour money into that thing. And then you go to a chart like this, and you're telling me, I think I'll trade this. I don't want to invest in this. I don't want to hold this for the long term. I'm going to trade it. I don't know what you're evaluating. This has been the most bullish altcoin in the entire space. It's been in an uptrend since day one. Why in the fuck would you not want to spend time researching this? Okay? So you really, at the end of the day, no matter where you fall, okay, and we're going to get off this subject, and I'll revisit it at some point later. No matter what end of the spectrum you fall on with technical analysis, how much you do with fundamental analysis versus technical analysis, this example should tell you that some part of your investment thesis should be on your ability to properly read a chart. I told you the first thing that made me interested in Caspa, truly interested, was the chart. I looked at the chart and said, wow, that is a really bullish chart. And then I started researching and finding out all these wonderful fundamental things about it. But it was the chart first. If the chart looked like it was bleeding since day one, I wouldn't have spent any time heavily researching it. All right, so not to beat a dead horse, but there are more questions coming in. So Rio from South Philly, wherever the hell that guy's from. You guys, anybody here a Philadelphia sports fan? By the way, the Eagles and the Patriots have a preseason game today. They're playing on the NFL Network, and I'm going to get to watch it. So I am excited. I'm going to catch most of the game. We're in a downtrend, no doubt. Last time we looked at this, clearly we were above this line here because it was green. Let's change that up. It is now resistance. Now, the nice thing is we've charted this thing out. And so, by the way, appreciate the engagement today, guys. I know it's a shitty market right now. It's not a shitty market. It's uninteresting. It's not very enthusiastic. So I do appreciate the engagement today. It's tough sometimes coming out here when you know that people are not super excited about price action. So trying to give you a little enthusiasm to let you know, hey, we're going to have to wait another 46 days, but the fourth quarter should be epic. So let's just sit tight. Let's just take a look at price action. We had this thing on, was it on a 2-day for real? Because I wouldn't have drawn it like that. You don't draw lines through candle bodies. There's no way I had this drawn on a, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what time frame I had this drawn on. But, oh, maybe we didn't get this price action here. If we look at the weekly, this really cleans things up. If you look at the weekly, you can see the structure here. So maybe this thing went a little bit, to Render's point, maybe this went a little bit lower than you were anticipating. But again, in assessing price action here, what are we seeing? I'll tell you what I see. I see higher highs and higher lows coming in here, right? Again, you talk about beating a dead drum, but it's just the case. I mean, all we're doing is, creating the higher highs and higher lows. So there isn't anything worrisome in the chart. Let me just start off by saying that. This is one of these real-world asset tokens. So you can see we very likely and possibly have bottomed at 65, 66 cents here. Okay. I have your levels of resistance. I don't think we really need to start charting out a ton more price confluence here, DT. I'll give you one more. You can kind of read the chart and see where the resistance is at. But there is a line. And by the way, DT, right around 140, 144. I really appreciate DT tuning into the live stream, and I'll tell you why. Because it's really cool to see people who have been a part of the channel, a part of the journey, the way the channel has changed over time since day one. I can't remember a time that DT was not watching the channel and engaged with me, and I do appreciate that. Like it really makes me excited to think that some people have chosen. It's a choice to stick around and watch the content. It really does mean a lot. The other thing I would point out here is that this absolutely looks like a falling wedge. Now, you could actually draw a pennant here. You could actually say this is your pole and this is your pennant. But I'm going to stick with just the falling wedge view. Now, these falling wedge views are bullish in nature. It doesn't have to work out. This thing could roll over and come down here. It's just not as likely, okay? Speaking of probabilities, it's more probable, based on us tagging a major area of price confluence, coupled with being in a falling wedge, that what you will see is a break to the upside. And the way you measure the break to the upside is from the top there to the bottom right there, and from the point of breakout. So if we broke out this week, it would be like this. If we broke out several weeks, at this line here, it would be like this. So a breakup somewhere into here. So you could play this for a trade too. Getting in on the price indicators here, DT. Again, MACD is trying to find its bearings. RSI is oversold at, slightly oversold at 42. And the stochastic RSI, much like render, has no momentum. We're down here at 0, right? It's the rest of the market. The whole market is just sort of, I thought I saw Caspa was actually up. I don't know if it still is. I mean, most tokens are down today. Yeah, CAS is up almost a full %. So Caspa is definitely bucking the trend, but it's continued to do that. Again, that's, anything short of a, let me see what that would be. Wait, let me think about this. Hold on a second. Yeah. Anything short of a $40 to $50 billion market cap will underwhelm what I'm anticipating for Caspa. So just throwing that out there. I've shared a lot of thoughts on Caspa. I will get a new video out there on Caspa at some point. It's just I have a lot of ideas in terms of the videos I want to do, and I haven't put anything together yet. What else we got, guys? It is a dumpster fire. I'm glad you recognize that. It's the truth. Hey, guys, Harmonauts, love you guys, all right? Love the community. Community's been nothing but fantastic to me. I've always liked the project. A lot of rumblings inside about leadership. I can't speak to that, but the chart is the chart. The chart's been shit, okay? It's been shit. Not as bad as Casper, though, I will say that. Can I short Casper? Yeah, I guess somewhere you could if you get on an exchange that allows that. Welcome in, Track. Good to see you. Thank you, DTA. I really do appreciate it. Smart move. You guys, I don't... Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up XRP. XRP is an example of a token where I wouldn't... Here's what I would say. I wouldn't discourage anyone from owning XRP. I would say this, however. I would encourage you to have a realistic, honest assessment of the chart and allow that to help formulate what percentage of your asset allocation should be in XRP. My XRP allocation has significantly decreased over the course of the past several years, okay? Why? Because of math. Because math, okay? Because analytics. I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm not sure if you've caught on yet for you guys who are paying attention. I don't cling on to anything to garner views. I actually come out here and I assess charts like a grown-up and tell you what I see in the charts from a teacher's perspective. That is what I do. So I don't hold allegiance like some sort of tribal person to any community. The communities that I've been a part of have been awesome to me, and I love being a part of them. But if a chart looks shitty or a chart looks great, I'm going to tell you that. That is how this channel operates, okay? What other charting questions do you guys have? I'll take one more charting question. I didn't realize, wow, we've been going for 34 minutes here. By the way, appreciate the engagement. I do see that. So it's a pretty lackluster day, and we're having a little bit of a rebound here, which is great. If we go to the daily, yeah, we just don't want to deviate on the daily. We just don't want to deviate from this 200 simple moving average much, because the more we deviate from it, the more that will cause that moving average to decrease, as well as the 50, and just continue to decline. Remember, my assertion has been, we can actually take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. We have the time. There's no more TA questions. I can see there's no more coming in. Let's look at one final thing before we tune out that will be value added for everyone. So one of the things that we talked about was the fact that there would be some clickbait out there for the death cross in the daily. And I said to you guys, hey, I told you what to watch for, right? A true death cross, which is what you would need to be concerned about, is if this 50 started to really slope down, okay? You saw that, and then you saw the pink start to sort of gradually roll over as well. That would be no es bueno. No es bueno. But that is not what we're anticipating. What we're anticipating is for these moving averages to sort of zigzag in here. Price is going to gravitate up towards here and then continue moving up. If we actually go to history and we take a look at some of these death crosses, what you'll find is it's not a surefire that we're going to see something significant here. Look, we got one. This was this boring time. Again, this was right before my surgery, literally right before I went off YouTube, and then we skyrocketed up, right? We had our death cross here, but see how the death cross was... the 50 stayed real close to this 200, right? And the 200 sort of, it's never stopped increasing, actually. So that's one example. This was a sharper correction during this expanded flat correction. You can see this one, this was a lot more sharper. Of course, then we had this one back here, which led to the massive correction. A lot of chip and chop in here. A lot of chip and chop in here with COVID. So this was a little chippy choppy. You can see we got one here. Okay, so we had price temporarily go under here for, it looks like, oh, I don't know, it looks like about a month and a half, close to 2 months, and then we got right back out of it. So again, these death crosses on the daily are something that you want to pay attention to, but the key thing you want to pay attention to is the formation of the death cross. How do these moving averages, what's the appearance of the moving averages? Again, so long as the moving averages, let's kind of like give you sort of a visual here. As long as the moving averages sort of stay within this range here, okay, we're fine, right? And I'm giving you a general range, guys. Don't plot this on a chart and hold me to it. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say and illustrate to you is these moving averages can squiggle around and be in here, but if it starts to deviate significantly, the 50 starts coming down, the 200's current, that's when we would want to be concerned. Again, guys, if you didn't catch the beginning of the live stream, make sure you go back, because I did have a pretty shocking confession to make. I am going to remedy it. But also the other thing I indicated to you is, while I feel super convicted, founded on education of what I'm anticipating for the fourth quarter going into the first half of next year, we still have to recognize that the market humbles us a lot. And there's no certainties in charting, so we have to stay vigilant and keep an eye on these charts, all right? And that's what I'm going to be doing over the course of the next 6 boring weeks. The next 46 days I will be here during this sideways, chip-chop, boring price action that we're anticipating, right? Do not expect anything exciting until the fourth quarter. But you're going to be right here with me. We're still going to have a lot of fun on this channel. We're going to have a lot of fun together. Half the time, you don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I come out with shit out of my mouth sometimes. You just want to be here for that. You want to catch that one moment CBG says something and you're like, what did he just say? All right, guys. Until next time, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Who the hell knows? I might be back here tomorrow. Typically Fridays I don't live stream, but if I'm in the mood, maybe I'll grab a glass of wine and come out here and live stream with all my fellow nerds, all right? All my fellow crypto nerds. Till next time, everybody, take care of yourselves.